Typography has a rich history. It has evolved and continues to evolve with each new available medium. It has had a few bouts with stylistic illegibility, but for the most part its purpose to deliver content to its audience has been upheld. The web has unique challenges for typography. Online, the symbolic language of the written word is fused with the languages of code, markup language, and binary data. When you think about it, web typography is layer upon layer of language. There are limitations to screen reading, and legibility can be compromised when web design is approached with the traditions of print media. However, responsive and fluid web design also brings entirely new possibilities to the realm of typography. In the past decade, web typography has evolved from limited typeface choice, style effects, spacing and control, and virtually no transformation effects to the endless possibilities of fluid web typography. Fluid web design is flexible. It gives up the control of print design in exchange for adaptability. As designers, we need to accept and work with the expectation that font faces, sizes, and line lengths may change. That can be a tall order for print designers. When we look at a screen, we are viewing projected light. It even has a slight pulse to it. These qualities can make the type look fuzzy. Typefaces that are designed for the web, such as Georgia and Verdana, have larger apertures and spacing, making the text easier to read. Additionally, larger X heights, prominent ascenders and descenders, more prominent terminals that indicate the edges of letters, and loose letter spacing improve screen legibility. Anti-aliasing reduces the jagged edge of the rasterized letter. Anti-aliasing is an action of a computer's operating system. It softens the edges of letters through the addition of transparent pixels. Hinting, a quality included in some fonts that aids clarity by preventing distortion, also aids with the screen's lower resolution. Our screen resolution continues to improve. As higher quality screens become more widely available and affordable, the needs of web typography may change. There are numerous changes ahead of us as the web experience evolves into a mobile and interactive experience. While working toward more clarity in typography display, designers need to work with an approximation of the reader's experience. This experience is continually changing, and this affects every aspect of the design, including the typography. Responsive design includes fluid layouts that work between devices. It differs from adaptive design because it is fluid and transitions for different devices, whereas adaptive design is a series of designs created for different device sizes. If the text is designed to flow responsively, it is more flexible. This requires a breakaway from the rigidity of print-based design. Even with the rise of mobile devices, web designs have dual uses and are frequently required to print. In order for a printer to correctly display the printable page, the page needs an additional CSS sheet that specifies the details of the content to be printed. And the font needs to be set to print-based units of increment in order to print correctly. With the development of HTML5 and CSS3, there is increased control of the quality of web typography, but there are still elements that are not under the designer's control, such as browser defaults and differences between browsers. And though it is not yet standard, HTML5 is structured to work semantically with browsers with previously unavailable native features. These can be specified structural elements within the markup language. More can be done within the code itself rather than through the process of imagery. Buttons and text previously created as images can now be designed within the code, which makes for better accessibility and better loading time. By using the @FontFace property in CSS3 style sheets, external fonts housed on the site's server or third-party provider servers can replace the ubiquitous, reliable fonts on the user's device. Typekit is a subscription systems provider that supplies designers with access to web fonts and syntax to add to style sheets to style a site's typography. Similar to Typekit, Google Web Fonts is a systems provider for free licensed fonts. As with Typekit, it houses the fonts and provides the code necessary for the site's style sheets to reference the fonts that are used to display the text in the website design. Another online font source is Font Squirrel. It supplies free fonts for commercial use as a systems provider, as well as providing a web fonts generator that can be used with the designer's own purchased fonts that are to be housed on the site's own server. Multiple fonts and families affect the loading time of the page. There's a page load meter built into Google Fonts that displays the impact of the designer's selection on page load time when the syntax is being accessed. One way to optimally utilize typography on the web is to compare faces on Type Tester, a website where you can compare type on the screen. Testing may also be done for accessibility with consideration to utilities and user needs. Considerations to those with low vision or reading disabilities such as dyslexia have specific typographic requirements. Accessibility is closely linked to navigation and ease of site use. If we change the way we design and we start with consideration to accessibility from the start and not later as a retrofit, we can improve the way we work with type and how typography works for us. From a reed stylus on a clay tablet to a plastic stylus on an electronic tablet, the written word has evolved while maintaining its chief characteristic, symbolic recording and communication. Responsive and fluid web design does not only present new possibilities to the realm of typography, it changes the way typography can be used. No doubt in a decade's time, typography will be utilized in ways we cannot yet imagine, but will hopefully take full advantage of.